Alrighty, so today I'm going to be talking about how to get yourself out of the first few ranks in Street Fighter online ranked matches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some tips that I recommend that you use if you're struggling to progress early on in your ranked matches. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, the most important thing to note is that you should definitely learn and get good at the main mechanics of Street Fighter 6 before you try to master a character. Mechanics, then character. Now what I'm talking about is to learn all of the game's systems that the game is going to teach you that are specific to Street Fighter 6 and also just things that have been with Street Fighter for a while now. Like for instance, you need to learn how to drive impact, you need to learn how to drive rush, and you definitely want to learn how to parry. And you want to be able to do it well enough that you don't have to stress about reacting late and not knowing which one to use or what button it was. These things will definitely help you in a match, so you don't have to worry about not knowing what to practice. Now, overall, that's pretty simple and straightforward, but it's super important to getting a good understanding of how to play your game correctly. This will definitely help your game plan. Speaking of game plan, that's the next thing I want to focus on. When you're playing a Street Fighter match, ranked match especially, you need to know what your game plan is. That's very important. Now every character in the game has their own game plan, and all of their moveset is going to be provided so that they reach that game plan. For instance, Ryu is a Shoto character. Now what that means is that he is basically a beginner character. He has a decent amount of tools, and he's pretty decent at most things. He has a fireball, DP input. He's pretty good at a few things, but he's not amazing at anything specifically. Well, unless you're talking about that damage, because, oh my god, bro, that shit is crazy. But anyway, now you want to know that when you're playing him, you got to know what his limits are. But it is also important that you learn what he is good at. So, for instance, Ryu being a Shoto character, he has a lot of safe options. Having fireballs, or Hadouken, is crazy good in Street Fighter 6. I mean, just look at Guile in the open beta. Having projectiles just makes you work so much better. And it makes you safer. And it allows you to keep your opponent at a distance while you kind of learn how they play. Center your gameplay around what that character exists to do. Simple enough, right? A tool that most people probably don't know about that actually helps you understand what you're doing wrong and right is actually the commentator mode in Street Fighter. Now you just turn this mode on, you can even turn it on in your ranked matches, and someone will, most likely it'll be a professional Street Fighter player or commentator, they will talk you through your match. They will talk you through your match and tell you what you're doing and what the opponent is doing and kind of give you a little bit more of an understanding of some of the fundamentals and some terms that you might not know. Lastly, now this may sound simple, but this is especially important when you're learning the game. You need to have patience. Now what that means is that when you're playing an early ELO ranked match, you have to watch what your opponent is doing, and you're going to want to try to learn what their game plan is. You're going to want to learn what moves they're relying on. You're going to want to learn what they are reacting to and what they're not reacting to. You really want to think about these things when starting a match against someone new. Rushing head-in may work sometimes, but it's not going to work every time. Let's be real. Now, I know I just said a lot of things to try to pay attention to while you might be figuring out the game and you're trying to figure out what your opponent's play is. You just have to pay attention to trying to learn at least a few of these things in every match. Keep the game slow, keep it at your own level, and try to read the opponent to the best of your ability. Now, it's not a worry if you can't focus on all these things at once when you start off. That's how it is. These things aren't going to come to you instantly, and you can't instantly understand it. But, like most things in these games, if you continue to attempt learning and how your opponent plays, then you're definitely going to find yourself getting better and better at reacting to them. Last thing I want to say, I know it said that was the last thing, but hold on, this is an extra little tip. This is super helpful, I swear. If you're learning the game and you are thinking that your only anti-air move is a DP or a special move like a Shoryuken or a rising uppercut, you're dead wrong, and you definitely want to know that that's not your only option. There is an option that is straight up easier and sometimes safer, especially when you're starting off. All characters will have an anti-air move that does not require them to use a special, such as Ryu, Luke, and Ken. They all have the same down heavy punch, and it's a good anti-air tool. When someone jumps in on you, you can just use it and it'll keep you safe. Now, it might do less damage than some of the special moves, such as like Shoryuken and Rising Uppercut, but it's much safer, especially smarter when you're new to the game, and you really don't want to overwhelm yourself with like too many things to remember at once, such as reacting to doing a Z input, last minute. Unless you're playing on modern controls. In that case, you're going to do whatever you want, man. Anyway, though, that's all for me, and yeah, I hope that helped. So, yeah, y'all have some good matches, and peace.